Okay, hi everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the second class of our seated exercise series. I hope you had fun last week. And if you're brand new, welcome to the class. Our exercise series is recorded this month. And so if you are new to today's class and you missed last week, you are welcome to have a look on our YouTube channel, where the recording from last week is uploaded. And just like last week, today will also be recorded, and it should go onto our YouTube channel in about a week's time. And so if you do need to leave early or you want to redo some of the exercises, you are welcome to do so on the YouTube channel this time next week. During our class today, we will be using either the chat box or the raise hand function to communicate. So we are on the Zoom webinar platform. Oh, can't talk today. Zoom webinar platform, which means that you are automatically muted, just so that way we don't get any background noise coming through. But if you do have any questions, you are welcome to use the chat box. And then if you don't want to type your questions, you are welcome to click on the raise hand function, in which case I can manually unmute your microphone as well. So that way you can ask over voice if you like. The structure for today's class will be very similar to last week, in the sense that it will mirror or mimic the Tuesday standing exercise classes. And we will start with a little bit of a warm-up drill or warm-up game, and then we will do the main portion of the exercise class, which will be 5 exercises. We're doing 2 rounds. The first round will be 2 minutes each exercise, and then the second round will be 1 minute each exercise, and then we'll finish with a little bit of a dual task challenge. Okay, so for today's class, you will need a chair. So like the chair I have here. So ideally the chair that you've got doesn't have any wheels at the bottom, because you don't want the chair to be moving around as you're moving. And ideally, if you don't have any armrests on the chair, that would be great, just because as we're moving today, you don't want to accidentally hit your elbow or any part of your arms as you're doing that. But of course, if you only have a chair with arms, that's okay as well. Just be a little bit mindful when you are moving today that you don't accidentally hit any of your limbs on the arms of the chair. Other than a chair, you will also need a cushion today. Or if you don't have a cushion, you can use any other object that you have at home. Ideally, something small enough that you can actually hold on to. Soft would be great too, because we'll be throwing this at the ground. So please don't hold on to any of your fancy china or plates, because you definitely don't want to be smashing that into the floor. So for example, a pillow. If you don't have a pillow, maybe an empty tissue box. You could use a shoe if you really want, but ideally something soft would be great. So have that aside. You won't need it right now, but just make sure it's close by so you can grab hold of it if you need. And I think that's it for me. If I think of anything later, I will say it in the exercise class, but just do your best to follow along. If anything feels a little too fast for you, that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to slow it down. Or if you need a break in the class, please feel free to take a break and get right back into it if you can. So just listen to your body. Hopefully the class will be challenging, but also doable. That's the whole point. So if it's getting to the point where the class is no longer doable because you're not taking any breaks and it's way too fast for you, then please do slow it down and take breaks, so that way you can still do the movements the way they're intended. Okay. And I guess the last thing is, if you are somebody in this class who finds this a little too easy and you want a standing version, you can check out the Tuesday class, which is at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays, and it's the standing version of this class pretty much. Okay. All right. I think that's it for me. Hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. Let's get started. I will move back and I will pull up my clock here just so I can make sure we're keeping to time. Okay, so we're going to start with a warm-up today. So when you're sitting in your chair, ideally, I would like you to sit to the front of the chair. So if I turn sideways for a second, What I don't want to see is you sitting like this, and then we're moving like that, okay? So we want to make sure your back is off the chair and you're shuffling your bottom forward, because if you're back here, even if your back is off the chair, if your bottom is still this far back in the seat, it's going to be really hard to lift those legs. Whereas if you're sitting at the front, you have more room in your hips to move in different positions. Okay. So sit forward in your chair. Try not to lean back if you can. We're going to start with some marching. So just join me here with your marching, nice steady pace. And as you're marching, you are going to be lifting those knees nice and high. You're swinging those arms, not just forward, but behind you as well. And now, as you're marching, I'll just explain what we're going to do. Okay, so similar to last week's warm-up drill, we're going to do marching as a baseline movement. And I'm going to shout out 4 different things at you, and you're going to do those things. So when I say pivot, what you're going to do is you're going to keep marching, but you're pivoting on your chair such that your knees are facing the right diagonal, and then you're going to go towards the left diagonal. So essentially you're kind of walking your legs across, but you're swiveling your bottom. So what I don't want to see is just the legs getting away from you. I want your entire body to kind of swivel in your seat, the entire body swiveling in the seat and back to the middle. Okay, so you're marching. And when I say pivot, you're going towards the right, towards the left, back to the middle. Okay, keep your knees high. Okay, and when I say down, you are going to make your legs nice and wide. You're going to touch the floor with both hands if you can. Then you're going to reach up at the ceiling with both hands, and you're doing that 3 times. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you go right back to marching. Okay, now if I say punch and kick, you are going to punch and kick opposite arm to leg. So one leg is kicking with the bottom of your heel. The other arm, the opposite arm, is punching forward. So it looks like this, okay? And you're gonna go for 10. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going back to your marching again, okay? Now, last one, if I say rotate, you're going to plant your feet on the ground, bring your arms up into sort of like a, if you're holding on to like a handlebar of a bike or motorcycle, you're keeping your arms in this position, and you're going to rotate your upper body 4 times like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your hips don't move, but it's the upper part that twists like that, okay? And then you go back to your marching. So I'll go over that again. You're marching the entire time. When I say pivot, you are pivoting on your seat to the right, to the left, back to the middle. When I say down, you are going to touch the floor and reach the ceiling 3 times. 2, 3, and keep marching. When I say punch and kick, you are going to punch and kick with the opposite arm and leg, and you're doing that 10 times. Okay, when you've done your 10, you're going back to your marching. And then when I say rotate, plant your feet on the ground, handlebars with the arms, and you're rotating 4 times and back to marching. Okay, let's try. So if you haven't already joined me in your marching, please do. Remember, we're not slouching into the chair. We're sitting up tall at the front of our chairs, and you're going to march. Okay, ready? Pivot. To the right, to the left, back to the middle. Nicely done. Down. We're doing 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And back to your marching. Nicely done. Punch and kick. We're doing 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and back to your marching. Very nice. And we're going to go for rotate. Plant your feet, handlebar arms, rotating 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to your marching. Nicely done. Okay, that was your 4. We're going to do that again. Nice big marches. Let's go for a down. Remember, we're doing 3. 1, 2, 3. Back to your marching. Punch and kick. You're doing 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to your marching. We're going to go for a pivot. Pivot yourself in the seat to the right, to the left, back to the middle, and rotate. Legs wide. We go for 3, 2, 1. Keep marching. Nicely done. Hopefully you get the idea. Pivot to the right, to the left. Down. 1, 2, 3. Marching. Punch and kick. We're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pivot to the right, to the left. Pivot again to the right, to the left. Down. 3, 2, 1. Down again. 3, 2, 1. Down again. 3, 2, 1. Rotate. Handlebar arms. We go 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep marching. Nicely done. Punch and kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Always go back to marching when you're done. Punch and kick again. Nicely done. Always back to marching when you're done. Pivot to the right, to the left. Down. 3, 2, 1. Punch and kick again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nicely done. Rotate. Handlebar arms. We go 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. Punch and kick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. Legs nice and wide. Float those arms up. Open those arms. Open the chest. Shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to do a bit of a stretch. You're going to flex down to the side, almost like you're reaching one arm to the floor and the other one towards the ceiling. Chest open, facing forward. Don't let yourself do this. Opening the chest, holding here. And coming back up, drop the arms, float them back up again. Same to the other side. Reach those arms away from each other. Nicely done. Shoulders away from ears. Coming back up, drop the arms. One leg out to the side. Keep your spine nice and straight, and you're going to hinge forward at the hips. You should feel a little bit of a stretch in that straightened inner thigh. If you don't, lean forward a little more. Coming back, same to the other side. One leg straight, hinge forward. Keeping the spine nice and long if you can as you're hinging forward. Coming back up, one leg forward, nice and straight. Same thing, hinge forward, reach your hands down towards that straightened ankle if you can. If you can't reach the ankle, your shin, your knee, your thigh is absolutely fine as well. Try to keep your spine straight as you're hinging forward. And coming back up, same to the other side, straighten the leg, sit up nice and tall, spine long, hinge forward at the hips, reach your arms down that straightened leg. Nicely done. And coming back up, sitting up nice and tall, clasping hands together. You're gonna reach the fists up towards the ceiling as tall as you can, almost like you're stretching your torso and trunk away from your hips. Reach, reach, reach. And then from here, we're gonna go on a bit of diagonal. So you're still nice and long and you're still reaching your clasped hands away from you on a diagonal. Okay, same to the other side. Reaching those fists away. Back to the middle, and we're going to circle those wrists as we lower the arms. Okay, so we're gonna do our first exercise. Hopefully you're a bit warm. So we are doing 5 exercises. We're doing 2 rounds. So the first round, we're doing 2 minutes each exercise, and the second round, we're doing 1 minute each exercise. So you're gonna grab your cushion now. So the first thing we're gonna do here, I'm gonna show you. So you're holding onto your cushion, or if you don't have your cushion, you're using another object like a tissue box shoe, whatever you got, that's fine as well. But hopefully it's a soft and small object. Okay, so you're holding on. What you're gonna do here is you're gonna straighten your leg out in front of you, and you're going to pass that cushion under the thigh without touching the thigh. We're going under the thigh. Same thing on the other side, under the thigh. And then you're gonna stick the leg out and you're gonna throw the cushion up in the air or object, whatever you've got. Stick the leg straight, throw, and catch. So we're going passing under the thigh, passing under the thigh, throwing up in the air and catch. But you're still straightening that leg up in the air, catch. Again, under the thigh, throw, throw. Okay, all the while when you're doing that, you're sitting up nice and straight. So if you look at me from the side for a second, you can see that I'm sitting up nice and straight the entire time. So what I'm not doing is like this. So I'm not leaning back into the chair every time I straighten the leg. I want to make sure I'm sitting nice and tall, nice and straight. Remember, we're not leaning into the chair, but we're also not sitting our bottom all the way back in the chair. You want to forward in the chair. So you go under the thigh, throw, throw. Okay, that's our first exercise. We're gonna go for 2 minutes here. Remember, you can slow it down if you need, or you can take breaks if you need, but try to get right back into it afterwards, okay? Are you ready? Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and go. Under the thigh, throw and catch. Throw and catch. Good, again, under the thigh, throw and catch, sitting tall. Try not to lean back into the chair when you're straightening that leg. See how straight you can make your leg. So really think about, you're showing the camera, the bottom of your heel, almost like you're pointing the heel right at your screen here. Nicely done. Remember, you're alternating legs, right? We're not just straightening one leg, we're going right, left, or left, right, doesn't matter what you're doing, but you're alternating the legs here. Nicely done. When you're throwing the object in the air, see if you can throw as far as you can, almost like you want it to reach the ceiling. Good. And when the object's going underneath the thigh, you want to try not to let it touch your thigh. So you're really passing it under. Hence why a small object is probably better than a large object here. Nicely done. You have 50 seconds left. You are almost there. Nicely done. Keep going. Sitting up tall. Remember, you're not leaning back in your chair. We're not falling off the chair. We're not slouching. We're sitting at the front of the chair still the entire time we're doing this movement. Nicely done. You got 25 seconds left. You're almost there. Nicely done. Last 15 seconds. Almost there. Nice and tall. Big throw up towards the ceiling. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Rest. Nicely done. Okay, keep a hold of your cushion. So our next exercise, we're going to still be sitting at the front of our seat, legs nice and wide, wider than your seat if you can. Just because if your legs are too close, you're going to have a hard time with the pillow throw that I was talking about a moment ago. Okay, so legs nice and wide. We're still sitting up nice and tall. We're not slouching back into the chair. We're sitting tall. Don't let the knees collapse in. You want to keep the knees over the heels if you can. And we're going to smash the cushion into the floor as hard as you can 3 times, like this. 1, 2, 3. After you do 3, you're going to do 3 bum lifts off the chair like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you restart again. Legs nice and wide. 3 smashes, legs in, 3 bum lifts. Okay, now, when I say smashes, I mean you're smashing that cushion into the floor as hard as you can, almost like you're throwing it so hard that the seams are going to burst and all the feathers are going to come out. What you don't want to do is like this. I don't want to see anyone just drop the pillow. Doesn't count. You want to breathe out and go as hard as you can. 2, 3. Legs coming in. Lift the bottom 3 times and you restart. Now, if I do this from the side for a second, when I'm doing my bum lifts, what I don't want to see is this, right? We're not just using our arms and lifting our bottom, but you want your weight to come forward over your legs. You want your weight to go forward. So yes, your arms are holding onto the chair, but we're not keeping our weight back here such that all of our weight is resting on our arms. You want to be leaning forward such that your center of gravity goes over your base of support, in this case, your feet. 2, 3. So similar to that sit to stand practice we did last week, I want to really encourage that forward movement. Okay. Right, enough talking for me. Are you ready? 3 pillow smashes into the floor, 3 bum lifts. Remember, you don't need to do this at the same speed I'm doing. You are welcome to slow it down, okay, if you need. But I want to see the power there. So I don't want to see anyone just drop the cushion and then, you know, do a little bit of a shimmy. You want to really do a big smash into the floor and bring your weight forward. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Smashing that cushion as hard as you can into the floor 3 times. 3. Bring your legs in a little bit. 3 bum lifts. 1, 2, 3. And then restart. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, papers are going flying in my room. 1, 2, 3. Keep going. I'm just going to turn sideways, so maybe it's a little bit easier for you to see, but keep going. 1, 2, 3. 1, bring your weight forward. 2, like someone's pulling you forward. 3. Nicely done. You got 1 minute left. See how loud of a sound you can make with that cushion smashing into the floor. Hopefully you don't have downstairs neighbors. Good, nicely done. Remember, you're not just dropping that cushion, you're throwing it at the floor as hard as you can. And when you lift your bottom, you're bringing your weight forward. Nobody should be doing this. Bring your weight forward. Nicely done. 3 of each. 30 seconds. 2, 3. Breathe out. So if you're doing the cushion smashes, it'll help with that motor output, that power. Nicely done. Good. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done, everybody. Okay, you can put that cushion away for the moment. Okay, nicely done. Okay, you've done 2 exercises. You've got 3 exercises left of this round. Okay, our next one, we are going to do some figure of 8 arms. So you're going to clasp your arms together. The arm movement is like this, drawing a gigantic sideways figure of 8. Noticing that my elbows are relatively straight, so I'm not doing this with my elbows, right? So I'm not bending them and kind of doing this movement. I'm straightening those arms and I'm using the fist to draw this gigantic figure of 8. So I'm kind of twisting my torso a little bit too. Okay, that's the arms. The legs go like this, out, out. Okay, so I'm going out in with one leg, out in with the other leg. That's the legs. So putting it together, you go like this. You step out, drawing a big figure of 8, and in. Step out, big figure of 8, in, out, in, out, in. Okay, so that's the entire movement. When you step out, make sure we're not just like this, but I want you to bring that leg out and you're actually putting some weight on it. You're putting it out and in, so we're not just tapping, okay? Are we ready? 2 minutes, let's try. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Out, in, other side, out, in. As big as you can with the figure of 8 with your arms. Imagine you've got a gigantic paintbrush that you're holding in your arms and your fists, and you're drawing as big of a figure of 8 as you possibly can on a blank canvas in front of you. And there's a little bit of movement of sort of rotating to the side that your leg is stepping out to as well. So you're pivoting in your seat a little bit, kind of like that warm up we did earlier where you're pivoting from one side to the other. You're sort of doing that here, except with one leg only. Nicely done. You've got 1 minute left. Keep going. As big as you can make it. Keep those elbows straight if you can. Remember, we're not doing this, right? We're not just moving the elbows like this. You want to really stretch out those arms. Stretch out those arms as much as you can. This one might feel a little bit awkward for some of you if you feel like you're quite stiff in the trunk. But keep going, drawing a big figure of 8. Use those arms. Use those trunk muscles. Really rotate and pivot. Nicely done. You've got 20 seconds left. You are almost there. Nicely done. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake out those arms if they're feeling a little sore. Shake out those legs if you like. Okay, 2 more exercises, and then we are going to repeat the circuit again, but for 1 minute each. Okay, so the next one, we're doing multi-directional stepping. I know it's a little tough to do that in a chair, but hopefully you've got some clearance under the chair. So let me show you the legs first. So we are going forward, forward, side, side. We go back, back. So now if I turn sideways for a second, I know that there's not going to be a whole lot of clearance under the chair. So you're not going to actually be stepping back, but you're sort of tapping back, if you will. Okay, so we're going forward, forward, side, side, back, back. Okay, that's the sequence. And you're going to be alternating your legs the entire time. Forward, forward, side, side, back, back. Okay, now the arms, you're going to step forward and reach the opposite arm to leg. So my right leg is stepping forward, so my left arm is reaching, noticing my hand is wide open, fingers are splayed. My back arm is reaching too. So if I sit sideways for a second, so pretend this is the front. When I do my step forward, I'm reaching, can you see my opposite arm to leg forward, and my back arm is also reaching. So I'm not just doing this, I'm reaching the back arm too, and you're reaching them as far away as you can, opening the hands, almost like you got $1 million in front of you and behind you, and you really want both. You're reaching as far as you can in. Same to the other side, forward, okay? So we go forward, forward, side, side. When we go back, same thing, you're reaching opposite arm to leg. So my front leg is, even though I'm moving the right one back, my front leg is left, so I'm reaching my right arm forward. Or easier way to think about this, right leg going back, so the left arm is going back. Okay, so then here we go. We go right, or sorry, we go forward, forward, side, side. We go back, back. Sort of make sense? Okay, maybe let me go on a bit of a diagonal here so you can actually see me better. Let's try 2 minutes. You're going forward, forward, side, side, back, back, and you're doing opposite arm to leg. For the forward and back, for sideways, you're just reaching those arms out. Okay, let me go on a diagonal. Are we ready? You got 2 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Forward, forward, side, side, back, back. Okay, you go forward, keep going. Forward, forward, side, side, back, back. And again, forward, forward, side, side, back, back. Hopefully you got some room. Keep going. Sit at the really front of your chairs, because if you're too far back, if you're like this, you're not going to be able to move your legs very far. So you want to make sure you're sitting at the front of your seat. I know it's a little bit tough doing this in sitting in terms of the multi-directional stepping. We still want to practice that coordination of the opposite arm to leg regardless. So even if you don't have room to actually move the leg back, you can still tap it back, right? Keep going. Nicely done. You've got 45 seconds left. You're almost there. Remember, if anything feels too fast, please feel free to slow it down. I know this one feels a little awkward, depending on the chair that you're in, but still practice the opposite arm to leg. Bit of thinking skills for you here. Nicely done. You got 15 seconds left. You're almost there. Remember, the back arm is also reaching. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, well done. One final exercise, and then we're repeating this round for the second time. So we are going to make our legs wide, but not wider than the chair this time. So we're not doing this, but we're keeping the legs apart, but also not like that. Okay, so we are going to bring the arms up behind our ears, and we're really lifting those elbows. So you want those elbows to point out to the side. We don't want to do this. We want to really open up the chest and get the elbows pointing out to the side. Okay, from here, we are going to crunch over sideways with our upper body, and we're going to lift our leg at the same time. So it's going to look like this. Elbow to knee, other side, elbow to knee. So what you don't want to do is like this. You don't want to be coming forward. You want your legs to be open enough that you lift with the legs open out to the side. So we're going elbow to knee, elbow to knee. And then the second time, you're going to go same thing, but you're reaching the arm down, reaching the arm down. So we're going elbow to knee, then you're reaching, and you're reaching. Same thing, elbow to knee, reaching, and reaching. So if this is too difficult for you to lift your arms, or sorry, lift your legs while moving your torso, what you can do is instead of lifting the entire leg off the chair, you can just lift the heel. Just lift the heel. If you need to have the leg on the floor, just lift the heel but you're doing the same thing with the arms. So you're going elbow to knee as much as you can, elbow to knee as much as you can, even if you can't reach. And then you're reaching to the floor, reaching to the floor if you don't think you can balance with lifting the legs up at the same time. Okay, should we give it a go? Remember, you can do this slower if you like, and you can take breaks if you need, okay? All right, here we go. So really open up those fingers. No one is like this. You're opening the fingers the entire time. Elbows pointing out to the side. Don't let them come forward. Open to the side. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Elbow to knee, knee still coming up, but you're reaching down to the floor. Elbow to knee, and reach to the floor, reach to the floor. Remember, if you can't do that, you can just lift the heel and keep the leg on the floor, but you're still moving the arms at the same time. Nicely done. You're 30 seconds in. Sit forward in your chair. If you're really far back, you're not going to be able to lift at all. So really make sure you're forward in your seat. Keep going. If your legs are too narrow, you're also not going to be able to do this. If you're like this, it's going to be really tough. So keep those legs wide. Nicely done. You got 45 seconds. That was pretty quick. Maybe not quick enough. Keep going. Last 35 seconds. Don't worry so much if you don't feel like your elbows can reach towards the knee. That's absolutely fine. Doesn't matter what version you're doing, but you're flexing your trunk from side to side. You're curving your trunk from side to side. So even if you keep your foot on the floor, you're still doing this kind of windshield wiper type position with your body. Good. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done. Shake out those arms. Shake out those legs if you need. Okay, so that was your 5 exercises for the first round, and we're going to repeat all 5 again for your second round, except this time they're only going to be a minute each. So just 60 seconds each exercise. So you're going to grab hold of your cushion again. So the first exercise we did was passing the cushion under the thigh. Do you know this one? Passing it under the thigh. Then we're throwing it up in the air, but you're still straightening the leg, throwing it up in the air. So again, we're going under the thigh, throwing it up in the air, throwing it up in the air like that. Okay, for 1 minute. Are you ready? You can do this. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Under the thigh, sit tall, under the thigh, throw in the air, throw in the air. So even when you're throwing that cushion into the air, you are still straightening the legs alternatively. And when you're throwing, you're not just kind of reaching up, you are trying to throw the object as high as you can toward the ceiling, under the leg, under the leg. When you go under the leg, you're trying to show me the bottom of your foot. Nicely done. You've got 20 seconds left. You're almost there. Good. Well done, everybody. Almost there. Sit up nice and tall. Hopefully you're not slouching back in your seat. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, keep hold of your cushion here, because now, let me turn sideways, we are doing our cushion throws and our bum lifts. So this one, we had our legs nice and wide, and you're smashing the cushion into the ground 3 times like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you're bringing those legs in a little bit, and you're going to do 3 bum lifts off your chair. Remember, when you're doing the bum lifts, you are bringing your weight forward over your legs to lift. So we're not doing this, right? We're not leaning back into our arms and lifting our bottom. And if you can do this one, without your arms, you're of course welcome to, but you don't have to. It's up to you. The most important thing here is I don't want to see anyone's weight back in their arms. I want you to bring your weight forward over your feet. Okay, just 1 minute. So you got 3 cushion snatches as hard as you can, and then 3 bum lifts, and you repeat. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. 1, 2, 3. 3 bum lifts. You can try to take your arms away if you like, but you don't have to, just as long as you bring your weight forward over those legs. And when you do your cushion snatches, you really want to throw as hard as you can. Breathe out with every throw, almost like you're smashing that cushion so hard into the ground that the seams are going to rip in the pillow. But hopefully it doesn't actually. Keep going. You've got 20 seconds left. Almost there. Remember to bring your weight forward over your feet when you're doing those bum lifts. Nobody should be leaning back into those arms. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done. Okay, you can put the cushion away. I'm turning back around to face you. All right, so you got 3 exercises left, and then you are done. And then we're doing our cognitive challenge. Okay, so the next exercise was our figure of 8. So we're clasping our hands together and we're drawing a gigantic figure of 8. And meanwhile, we're stepping the legs out to the side. Do you remember this one? So we're stepping out to the side, drawing a big figure of 8, coming in. Same to the other side. Step out, drawing a big figure of 8, coming in. And we're going to repeat that. Okay, so remember the figure of 8, you're using your trunk, you're rotating, your elbows are straight. We're not doing this. This doesn't count. So we're not doing this with our figure of 8, right? Arms straight if you can. There will be some element of bend to your elbow, but you're trying to keep it as straight as you can and you're rotating the body. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Stepping out, figure of 8. In, stepping out, figure of 8. Nicely done. Don't be afraid to let your body rotate. Drawing as big of a figure of 8 as you can, almost like you're holding a gigantic paintbrush in your hands, and you're drawing as big as you can on a blank canvas in front of you. Nicely done. Good. 20 seconds. Oh, I lied. 25 seconds. Now 20 seconds. Nice job. Keep going. You're still sitting at the front of your chairs, right? We're not leaning back into the chair. Rotating with your trunk, drawing as big of a figure of 8 as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. The minute goes by pretty quick. Okay, 2 more exercises. So our next one is our multi-directional stepping. This is one where we step forward and we reach our opposite arm to leg, in, other side forward, in, out to the side, in, out to the side, in, then we went backwards, in, backwards, in. Do you remember that one? So you're doing opposite arm to leg. When you go forwards and back to the side, you're reaching those arms, you come in, reaching those arms in. Okay, are you ready? Let's try. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Forward, forward, side. Nice open arms, side. We go back. Opposite arm to leg, back. Keep going. We go forward, forward. You can slow it down if this is too fast. Side, side. We go back, opposite arm to leg, back. Keep going. Nicely done. Good. You've only got 30 seconds left. To the back. Hopefully you're sitting forward in your chair, because if you're too far back, you won't have enough room to move. Nicely done. To the back. to the back. Nicely done. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nicely done, everybody. Okay, one more exercise and then we'll do our dual task challenge. Okay, the last one, we are separating those legs and we're sitting nice and tall with the legs nice and wide. You're bringing those hands up behind your ears, nice and open. No fists, nice and open. Elbows nice and lifted, and you're pointing your elbows out to the side. So we don't want the elbows pointing forward. We want to open the chest, elbows pointing out to the side. Okay, this is the one where we did our knee to elbow or elbow to knee, and then you went reaching to the floor, reaching to the floor. So you're going elbow to knee, elbow to knee. Don't have to actually touch your elbow to the knee if you can't. Reach to the floor, reach to the floor. So essentially the legs do this the entire time. That's pretty much it. And the arms go elbow, elbow, hands, hand. Okay, maybe not that fast, but you're going elbow, elbow, hand, hand. And if that's too difficult and you can't lift your legs, that's okay. What you're gonna do instead is just lift the heels, lift the heels, lift the heels. So it looks like this, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Okay, so same thing. Same with the upper arms. You go elbow, elbow, hand, hand. But instead of lifting the legs, you're going heel up the entire time. Okay, 1 minute. Make sure you're sitting forward in your chair. If you're too far back, this is going to be really, really tough. Are you ready? Only 1 minute. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Or if you can't lift the leg, you can just do the heel up version. Keep going, whatever version you're choosing, try to make sure you're sitting at the front of your seat and you're sitting right over your sit bones to be able to do this. Don't worry if you can't actually get the elbow to touch the knee, that's absolutely fine. It's just the movement of that kind of curving sideways that we're looking for here. Whoops, I didn't need to kick my leg there. Too much talking for me, apparently. Keep going, you're almost there. 20 seconds. Remember, if this is too fast, please feel free to slow it down. Nicely done. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, good job, everybody. So we are going to now finish the class with a little bit of a cognitive challenge. So this is our dual task challenge, which basically means you're doing a physical movement while also pairing it with a cognitive task, so a thinking skill task. So last week we did a language task, meaning that we used words to do the dual task. So last week we had cities and countries, from the letter A down the alphabet to Z. Do you remember that? So today we're going to do a numerical one. But first, let me show you the physical movement. So you're going to grab hold of your cushion again. And what we're going to do here is we are going to pass the cushion under our thigh, similar to the exercise we did. So it looks like this. I'm passing the cushion under my thigh. If it's under my right thigh, then I'm going to pass the cushion to over my trunk or around my trunk to the left, like this. So let me go over that again. So if you pass the cushion under your right thigh, you are passing it around your trunk to the left. And then I'm going to pass the cushion under my left thigh, and I'm passing the cushion around my trunk to the right. Okay, so you go opposite. So you go right leg to the left side of the trunk, left leg to the right side of the trunk. So that's the movement. You go under the thigh, around the trunk, other side, under the thigh, around the trunk. That might already be confusing. Try it again. So we go under the right thigh, pass around the left side of the trunk. Under the left thigh, pass around our trunk to the right. Okay, so right leg, left trunk, left leg, right trunk. That's the movement, okay? Now, as if that wasn't difficult enough, as you're doing that physical task of passing the cushion or whatever object you've got under the thigh, around the opposite side of the trunk, you are also going to say out loud, you are going to count backwards from the number 100 in sevens. So you're counting backwards from 100 all the way to 0, but you're not going 100, 99, 98, blah, blah, blah. You're going from 100 and you're counting backwards in sevens. So you're going 100, 93, 86, so on and so forth. So you're basically subtracting 7 every time. So you're going 100 and then minus 7, which is 93, minus 7, which is 86. So you're counting backwards from the number 100 in sevens, all the way down until you get to 0. Okay, so we are doing under the right thigh, around the left trunk, under the left thigh, around the right trunk. All the while, you are saying your numbers, counting backwards from the number 100 down to 0 by 7. So counting backwards from the number 100 in sevens while you're doing the physical task. Okay, and you're saying that out loud. I'm going to be quiet as we're doing this so I don't distract you, but I want you to join me here with the physical task first. Okay, let's start with the physical task and then we'll add in the number counting. So we are going under the right thigh, passing around the left side of the trunk, under the left thigh, around the right side of the trunk. If you get that part confused, don't worry, just go under the leg and then around the trunk. Not a big deal if you don't actually get the opposition part, just go under the thigh, around the trunk if it's too challenging for you. Okay, keep going with a physical movement. Hopefully you've already joined me here. And then when you're ready, I'm going to get you to start counting out loud backwards from the number 100 in sevens. Okay, when you're ready, off you go. I'm going to try to be quiet here and let you concentrate. How are we doing? Hopefully you're still moving. You're not just thinking and forgetting to pass that cushion under your leg and around the trunk. Give you another minute here. Last few seconds. Okay, and let's stop there. You can put your cushion away. How did you do? Hopefully good. Legs nice and wide. We're going to float those arms up beside us and then reach up overhead. Link those fingers, reach those fingers up towards the ceiling as far as you can. Really stretch your trunk away from your hips. And then we're going to take that stretch on a bit of a diagonal, so reaching those fists away from you. I think that dual task challenge is always a little bit hard, especially when the physical movement is already a little bit of a thinker. But hopefully you're up for the challenge. One more each side, reaching up over on a diagonal. Back to the center, same to the other side. Back to the center and circle those arms down. Nicely done. Legs in, take your hand, reach to the opposite knee. The other hand is going to wrap around the back of the chair, sitting up tall. You're going to rotate yourself around to look at the back wall. Deep breath in and up here. Nicely done. And releasing to the other side. Take your hand, reach the opposite knee. Other hand, wrap around the back of the chair, sitting tall. And you're going to rotate yourself around to look at the back wall. Almost like you're growing taller in your seat here. Back to the middle. We're going to take those legs nice and wide as we feel you're able to. Take your hands, you're going to place them on the inside of your knee, and you're going to push those knees out even further. Your trunk is nice and straight, spine long, and then you're hinging forward at the hips such that you can feel a stretch on the inner thighs, and you're still pushing those those legs away from each other. Sometimes you might not even need the lean forward. Maybe you're just pushing those legs out and you already feel that stretch, and that's absolutely fine. But if you did want to add an additional forward hinge at the hips, you're welcome to. And coming back up, bring those legs in. Going to straighten one leg out in front of you, sitting tall, hinge forward at the hips, reach those fingers down that straightened leg. If you can't reach your ankle, that's okay. Go for your shin, your knee, your thigh, whatever you can manage. You should feel a stretch underneath your thigh. And let's switch sides, same to the other side. Nice and tall, hinge forward at the hips, reach those fingertips down as far as you possibly can. And coming back up. Okay, we're going to do a bit of a front thigh stretch. We're going to walk our legs over to the corner just a little bit. And your front leg, you're going to step that leg back and you're going to drop that knee towards the floor. It's not touching the floor, you just bring the kneecap pointing down to the floor. And then from here, you're going to lean back into your chair to really straighten out the front of that hip, and hopefully you should feel a stretch at the front of the hip and in the thigh. We're just going to hold this for a moment. And coming back up, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Step back with that front leg, and you're pointing that knee towards the ground. Then you're leaning back into the chair so you can really straighten the front of the hip and that thigh. You should be able to feel the stretch there. And coming back up, nicely done. Big scoop up towards the ceiling, breath in, hands together, and breath out. Same thing again, breath in, and breath out, and you are finished. 12:30, right on the dot. Thank you everybody for joining us for the seated exercise series session number 2. Hopefully you had some fun. I know some of the exercises are a little bit challenging in terms of coordination and kind of just being able to balance in your chair, but hopefully you had fun nevertheless. So remember the class is recorded and it will go onto our YouTube channel, hopefully by this time next week. So if you did want to redo some of those exercises, you are welcome to do so. And that's it for me. So I hope you had fun and enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy your weekend.